Hey, and welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Zee Garcia.
Today we're going to be taking a look at a two-player game. I guess it does include a one-player variant, but it's specifically designed to be a two-player game called Solstice, as well as a little mini kind of expansion, a little envelope expansion called Firefly. We'll be taking a look at both of these here, kind of giving you our thoughts and letting you know what we think. So stick with us for the overview here, and then we'll come back. To start us off here, I'm just going to explain the base game Solstice and the rules with that, and then after which I'll go over some of the changes that come with the Solstice Firefly, little mini expansion that comes in this envelope here. So let's go first through the base game Solstice. Now I already have this out in mid-game here, you can see, so this is going to be my player aid, and just to kind of ease on camera, this here is the available pool that I can draft from, and then these are going to be the draw pile over to the side. Really important in this game, especially the first time you play, is going to be this player aid here. This is going to show you what a completed meadow here is going to look like, or I guess mountain hill. There is one copy of each of these tiles in the game, so you will not look like this at the end of the game. You are trying to build a contiguous portion of the mountain landscape here, and ultimately hopefully trying to connect this base level to the top level to light these flames. At the end of the game, you are going to score your largest area, as well as score 1 point for each of these flames that are lit. And by lit, that means you can connect them to the base. So right now, none of these are lit. This one here is lit because it is connected all the way down to the red, which is on the bottom. The colors are going to be which row each of these tiles are in, and the number, of course, is which column. Each tile having a color and a number in the lower left-hand corner. Really helpful here as well is this little key to kind of show you which row each of these tiles are in as well, just in case you don't have that player aid handy. It's kind of a quick reference. So on your turn, you're going to choose one of the tiles in your hand and play it out into the tableau here. So let's say that I take this one here, and it is a pink 6. I'm going to look up here at the available tiles and see if there's a match. A match is either a color match or a number match. So by playing this pink 6, I can also either take this pink 4 or I can take this green 6. In this case, I'm going to take the green 6. So now these are my two tiles. I would go ahead and place them both out. So this one would go right in here, and this green 6 is going to go right here. After that, you would just draw back up to 3 tiles into your hand. Now let's say, for example, I had played this card here that didn't have a match. If it doesn't have a match out there available, then you have to kind of push your luck a little bit to hopefully get a match. So you still play your card out into the middle here, and then you're going to turn one randomly over. At this point, we're checking for matches. If this had matched, for example, if this had matched and I had played like this one, for example, with the green match, then just like before, I would take both of those and play it. But as that's not what happened, and I turned this one over, there is no match. I leave this one up here, and I take this rainbow tile. A rainbow tile is going to be a wild. When you take a wild, you'll go ahead and place it anywhere in your tableau, and this can be used to bridge and connect. So you can see now I have one big area that very much increased my score here. Or I could have put it here to make this all the way come down, something like that. The other thing you can use it for is to make a group of 4, or a 2x2 group. Because when you make a 2x2 group, you get some of these spirits to help you in your gameplay here. When you earn a spirit by making a 2x2, you can either choose one of the two that are, or not two, I guess one of the ones that are available, or you can draft them. So let's say in this case, I'm going to draft them. So I take 2, I choose the one I want, and then I would go ahead and put it down in the middle there, taking its special ability. Some of them are going to be special abilities for instant abilities, and then others are going to be endgame scoring. So you would take that, and then the other one is going to be discarded into the available pool here. So you can see that's how they may or may not be available. By placing this rainbow, I did make a second group here, so I would have an opportunity to take more. I'm going to go ahead and take this one here and place it there as well. So then my turn would be done. Same thing, I would draw 3, and it would go to the other player who would do the same. Play is going to keep going this way until nobody can make a valid placement. When nobody can make a valid placement, that's usually because the draw pile is depleted and you're kind of playing out those last cards from your hand. If you cannot make a valid placement, then the game ends and we move to scoring. To score, you are going to figure out which is your biggest area. So example here, these are not connected, so this here is going to be my biggest area. I would get 1 point for each tile, not including the rainbows, in that group. 1 point for each flame that is lit. Again, that flame has to make it all the way down to the red row. And then you're going to get 1 point for each spirit, plus any additional points that individual spirit scores you. So for example, the cow here is going to get you 1 point for your second largest group. After that, it's just going to be highest points wins. But let's talk about Firefly and what that's going to bring in. First of all, it brings in a couple additional animals. Funny enough, the cow and, not the deer, just the cow is one of the expansion ones. So it's going to bring a couple different spirits in for those varying powers. And it's also going to bring in these Firefly tokens. Firefly tokens are used when you make more than one 2x2 square on a turn. So up here, where I had taken the squirrel and then afterward I had taken the cow, rather than taking a second spirit token, I would take a Firefly token and place it right there. Firefly tokens are 1 point at the end of the game, but if you ever collect 4, it is an instant win condition. The only other tile that it changes with the expansion is going to be this beaver tile here. This is still going to hot potato back and forth, but you would place it on your opponent's board as a block. So now, for example, if I was ever able to obtain the blue 5, I would not be able to place it. I would remove that tile from the game, but then take this block token and put it on my opponent's board as well. So it's a little bit of a hot potato, but just is used as a blocking mechanism. But that's going to do it for Solstice and Solstice Firefly. Let's go back up top and talk about our thoughts. All right, so first of all, I always like to talk about the components.
Yeah.
I really think that they're pretty stellar in this.
Yes, it's very good. There's very few components, but they are very good.
Right. I really like that they went with tiles instead of cards. It could have been a card game. I think the tiles make it just feel a little more deluxe, and that those spirit tokens are wooden, just really kind of take it up that extra notch as well. So I think the game is a very pleasant surprise, especially given the box size and kind of what my expectation was going into it.
Yeah, and then the artwork is really lovely and sort of cutesy, very welcoming artwork. It's there's nothing about this game that doesn't scream, come on in and have a play. Right. And I really enjoy that about it.
I think that extends also into the setup and the gameplay.
Yeah.
The setup is, much less than 5 minutes. I'm going to think maybe a minute.
Sure.
I mean, you put the tiles upside down, you shuffle them, you get your starting ones, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's really, really quick, which again lends to that welcoming feeling. You know, this is a game that you can definitely play on a weeknight when you're, again, waiting for dinner to cook, or when you're really tired and want kind of a low overhead. You can not only set up the game, but be playing the game within 5 minutes if you haven't played before.
Right.
I think they hit a real sweet spot with that. But with that as well, as I don't feel like it's sacrificing any strategy in that.
Yeah, and there's plenty of little abilities and special effects in the game and all of that. It's a game that feels like, almost in a way, like a traditional card game. It kind of feels like a rummy type of game. You play a card, and then you collect another, card tile. You collect another matching tile, same color or same number, and you put them out. Right? It's like a card game with geometry, is what it feels like. But then you throw in all the little special abilities of all the characters you might discover on the mountain, and suddenly it's a full-fledged game with special abilities, with various ways to score, with things to avoid or pursue. This is a bigger game in the way it feels, in my opinion, than the box would lead you to believe.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting balance, that it's a bigger game than the box has you believe, but not any more complex.
Right.
You know, it really just is into that strategy, because there might be times that you're holding a tile that does make a match out there, but the one you want is actually the one but you're not quite ready for that card yet. So you might play one specifically that's not a match,
right,
just to blind draw, to kind of wait and hold off on making that group of 4 or whatever your strategy may be, And so there's that you really do make some interesting choices, I guess, is my point. That being said, you did talk about the different strategy and getting the spirits out there as well. I found that the symbology in this game is not very intuitive.
Sure.
That is something, even after multiple plays, I have to keep that player aid handy. To that, they do have the player aid.
Right.
There is one, and you can share it back and forth, which is not a big deal in a 2-player game.
And it's the rule book also, so you can actually, one player have one and the other player have the other. I think the version we have happens to have a French player aid here at work, but still, it's in the rule book. It's in English.
Yeah.
It's easy.
But even after multiple plays, I'm still having to reference that.
Yeah.
Because all the spirits are unique, and I just don't I don't understand the symbology. I guess it's just not sticking with me. It's absolutely not intuitive. And that's honestly probably one of my biggest complaints of the game. I have very little negative to say. I think that this game would also benefit a little bit from a player mat or something to help you visually kind of know exactly where stuff goes. But I don't want the box any bigger than this.
Right.
So that would be the payoff there. It's like, oh, that would be great, but not at the expense of it taking up more shelf space.
Yeah, and one thing I generally do not use, and this will be a nice segue into the expansion, is there's the evil spirit. There's this little red tile, and the ability in the original game is when you draw that thing, you keep it in front of you. It's not great. But then if you later on get another spirit, when you take that new one, you get to pass the red one, the bad one, hot potato style, to your opponent. And at the end of the game, whoever's actually holding it, as it passes back and forth, has to fully cancel one of their spirits. Pretty nasty stuff. And it's optional, but it's just too jerky. It's too mean. I don't really love playing with it. But the expansion changes the rules for that tile and softens the blow, in my opinion, where it's now just going to block a spot, and it feels like, oh man, I can't play in that one spot. It's not the end of the world.
Right. And you still have that hot potato back and forth, but it's not like potentially decimating that end game scoring.
Right.
Now, also in the original, it might have only been 1 or 2 points, but this is a pretty low scoring game. I mean, it's under 30 points. You know, typically you're looking at the 18 to 25, you know, if it's balanced between the two players. So I do agree that I feel like the red spirit felt out of place. I think he's a beaver. He felt out of place in the first game. It was like the one, like, haha, take that, you know, kind of in-your-face mechanism, where it's definitely more balanced into the second one. Feels more part of the game, I think.
Right.
So with that, I also enjoyed the Firefly expansion. What did you think of the Firefly tokens and that change from as you get a spirit, that can cascade, or as you place a tile, that can cascade to getting multiple spirits, versus in the Firefly, you just get the Firefly tokens.
Yeah, I like it. It reminds me a little bit of another game that one of these co-designers, Bruno Catala, did, which is Seven Wonders Duel, and many other games that he's done where he has these sort of multiple ways to victory. There's usually like, if the game ends, then we score, but it might go to sudden death, and the Fireflies introduced that. They also lower the curve. In the original game, you have the possibility sometimes with a single tile placement to get 2 spirits, maybe 3, and it was so powerful to be able to pull that off that it felt like a little bit of a landslide. That player could then play, draw 2, play 1, and then immediately go back for the other one they might have just drawn. It's like, well, you got to C2 and you're taking both. That gives the other player no chance at all to react to that. In this, I like that you get 1 spirit on your turn. And if you would get more, then you just take a Firefly token and put it into intersection where a spirit would go. It's worth a point. That's it. Just like all the spirits, but with no special ability. But if you get, 4, you win the game outright. So you could definitely try for that now, where you were saying you could take tiles specifically to set yourself up so that a single placement will trigger 2 or 3 things.
Right. And it really just opens up that strategy, I think, because it's hard to get 4. I think it's not easy to get 3, but it happened in a couple games.
Yeah.
It's manageable. To get that 4th, though, is really a stretch, and it has to be a very high strategic play, very lucky play, the right things coming out at the right time. And so I think that having that as a win condition is really interesting and unique. It's something to go for. And honestly, if you have that much, you probably have the biggest contiguous land anyway. And so you're probably already winning. I think it's almost a merciful death for the other player.
Yeah,
at that point.
It feels a little bit like shooting the moon in a way, because, getting 1 or 2 or 3 it's definitely worse than them having been spirits instead. They're already a point as spirits, and you're getting no power, no extra scoring or extra benefit.
Well, they're only a point if they're connected down to the base as well.
Okay, well, there's that even, so it's even worse, right? Yeah. But it's that shoot the moon. The closer you get, the worse you're doing until you get through to the threshold, and then you immediately win. And I like that push and pull. You don't have to go for them. You don't have to pursue that. That might happen anyway, but you don't have to pursue that. But if you want to try to shoot the moon, you can do it in this game now with the expansion, and I like that. Plus the new characters that are in the expansion booster pack there are really neat. I like them a lot.
I think they're interesting. I think they fit in very well with the others.
Yeah.
I don't think they elevated it all, but I'm glad to have that extra variety for sure.
Yeah, this is not an expansion that I would feel like, oh, I want to teach this game to someone new. Oh boy, let me go through and separate everything out.
Yeah, no.
This is not coming back out of the box. It can just kind of sit in there and it's fine.
Well, with that, why don't you go ahead and give final thoughts and your rating here?
Yeah, I really enjoy this game. It's got its place in time. It's a very small game. It does take a little bit of table space, so it's not quite like an airplane tray game. You need a little more room than that. But mentally, it kind of feels like that to me. This little something you can pull out of your pocket and play very quickly. I'm going to give this one an 8. I really enjoy it. I'm happy to play anytime. I love the feeling of playing a card game, which is kind of what this game feels like to me to play. A rummy thing or, a card collecting thing. But then taking those and arranging a pattern in front of myself, trying to get the puzzle to link up, so that I have a nice big area and score a whole bunch of points for that. It feels good to play, and the expansion thrown in is smooth. It just feels logical and easy. It's not an expansion I would say you gotta have it or the game's not good, but I would also have no qualms recommending it. It's a fun little expansion. Absolutely, it'll be a good addition to the game. So for me, a strong 8 out of 10. Definitely would say check it out.
All right, for me, it's an 8.5. I think this is an excellent game, and I can see it becoming one of my most played games because it is so quick to learn, quick to table, but doesn't sacrifice any of that decision-making space that I really like. It has a great push and pull tension. Yes, the tiles that come out can be very lucky, but that's also in a 15-minute package, maybe a 20-minute package. And that really is, I think, a really sweet spot that you're feeling like you're making good decisions. You're feeling the tension of every play. I can make a match, but do I want to make that match? How do I get this one out onto the table, which is like this one in my hand, I want to play into my tableau, but there's no match for it. Can I risk putting it out there and hoping I get something, or I have this other one in my hand that will match it, so will I get it back, or is the other player going to take it? Just so many good tension and high strategy moments in a 15-minute package.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, I keep saying it's a sweet spot. I think that this game checks a lot of boxes and becomes very comfortable without being lazy. It's not a lazy game. You are actively involved the entire time. Yeah. I think keeping it to a two-player game is fantastic. It has a great head-to-head feeling of push and pull. You can be very aware of what your opponent is doing the whole time so that, again, you can play into that strategy and not work against them, but, mitigate the luck of the game.
Well, you can look across and say, oh, they already have the green 5.
Right.
There's only one. I know where it is. It's right there. Okay, I know I got to find a different way to link these things up.
That's a good place for my rainbow.
Yeah,
something like that. And again, I'm right there with you on this expansion. I think this is an excellent, excellent expansion. It's the type I want that I can easily throw in and forget it's there. It brings variety. It gives another way to strategize in a new win condition. But if you sit down and teach this game with the expansion in it, to somebody, they're not going to know there's an expansion in there. They're going to have no idea. Yeah. And I do think the change of the way the red character works is more in line with the feel of the game. So all good things coming from the expansion without actually changing the game. So it's not necessary. You don't have to have it because it doesn't fix the game. Right. It doesn't give it the variety it was missing. It doesn't do anything that is actually elemental to this game. But it brings it really rounds it out in a very, very nice way that I think I put it in and I'll always be glad I have it, but also probably forget that I have it.
Right.
And I think that's a perfect expansion. So for me, it's an 8.5. I think this is an excellent little two-player game for those weeknights, for those cozy situations where you just want a little bit more strategy without any setup, without any teardown, and honestly, without much overhead at all, other than just your mind and getting into the gameplay. So 8.5 for me. That's Solstice, and that's going to wrap it up here for Solstice and Solstis Firefly expansion. Thanks for joining us here on the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Zee.
And we'll see you next time.
Hey folks, thanks for watching another one of our videos. If you like our videos, if you like our channel, you would love to game with us at one of our conventions. Check out Dice Tower Cruise, Dice Tower East, and Dice Tower West. Fantastic conventions where we play games with wonderful people, a humongous library, and lots of other events and stuff. Also, don't forget to check out our channel, like and subscribe. I'm Tom Bassel.